Right. So today we're going to do a deep dive on something that I think everybody is interested in at some point in their life. And that is, understanding the signs of female attraction.
Yeah.
Now, I got to say,
It's a good one.
I read the source material you sent me, and some of this is like direct dating advice.
Uh-huh.
And some of it is like these kind of assumptions about women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to unpack it all, but
Right.
I think it'll be fun.
It'll be a fun one for sure.
So they start off by emphasizing the importance of a yes, like that initial consent,
Oh, okay.
which on the one hand seems basic,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, you can't build a house without a solid foundation.
It is the foundation.
What are your thoughts?
I think that's a great analogy. And yeah, I think they're absolutely right. Like, if we're talking about attraction and building any kind of connection or relationship,
Yeah.
whether it's romantic or platonic or anything in between, consent is really the bedrock.
Right.
It's about like setting those boundaries
Yeah.
and just making sure everybody feels respected,
Yeah, makes total sense.
empowered.
Speaking of laying a good foundation, they also talk a lot about confidence.
Okay.
Like eye contact,
Yeah.
not fidgeting, all that good stuff.
Uh-huh.
But isn't there a point where that becomes like
Oh, totally.
trying too hard?
For sure. And I think that's the big distinction between like actually being confident
Right.
and like projecting confidence, because anybody can kind of like put on a show or trying to, do all the right things
Right.
to seem confident, but it's really about like that genuine belief in yourself and,
Right.
your own value. And I think that that's what people are really attracted to.
It's magnetic
Totally.
when you see somebody who's just like comfortable in their own skin.
It is.
All right, so we've got consent, we've got genuine confidence. What else are we looking for here?
Let's see. So it seems like they're big on humor, like cracking jokes, being cheerful. They even use the phrase win her heart, which may be a little outdated,
A little bit.
but I get what they're saying.
Yeah, is there any truth to that? I mean, like,
for sure.
we've all been in those situations where somebody's like
Totally.
trying too hard to be funny, and it's just like,
Yeah, and it just falls flat.
so how do you,
It's got to be genuine.
yeah? Is there like a science to this, or is it just like you got to find the right person and the right joke and the right moment?
I mean, there's a lot of research actually on the psychology of like humor and attraction.
Oh, wow.
And like when you think about it, laughter releases endorphins. It just creates like a good feeling,
Right.
And it can disarm like, a tense situation or kind of make somebody seem more approachable or help build rapport.
Right, so it's not just about like trying to be funny. It's like
Right.
there are actual benefits to it.
Totally. Yeah, and it can even
I mean, but you're right.
like reduce stress.
Yeah, it can backfire too if you're not careful.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, humor's subjective. What one person finds funny, another person finds totally offensive or just corny.
So how do you walk that line? Like,
Tough one.
you don't want to be like the stand-up comic trying out new material,
Right. You don't want to be like auditioning.
but you also don't want to be a total bore. So like, what's the advice here?
I think the key is just to be genuine and playful, not forced. Like, pay attention to the other person. Are they laughing with you or at you?
Yeah,
And just remember that like humor should be used to enhance the connection,
right.
not to cover up insecurities or dominate the conversation or anything like that.
So read the room,
Right.
be yourself, have a couple good jokes in your back pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now this next one, I'm not so sure about. They talk a lot about the dress code,
Okay.
and their advice is very specific
Interesting.
and maybe a little old-fashioned.
Like, what are we talking about here?
Like formal attire, minimal color. It's giving like black tie dinner, ballroom dancing.
Okay.
They even say avoid colorful clothes.
Interesting.
I mean, is that really a deal breaker?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think the way we present ourselves does communicate certain things.
Right.
And I think clothes can be a form of self-expression. So
Yeah.
like they can reflect our personality, our confidence, even our values,
So it's less about like following these rigid rules and more about just like, what are you trying to project?
Exactly.
Like, what image are you trying to put out there?
Yeah, and remember, like, feeling comfortable and confident in your clothes is key.
It's huge.
Because if you're constantly, like, adjusting your tie or tugging at your sleeve or whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's going to show, and that can make you seem more nervous and less confident.
Nobody wants that.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got consent, we've got confidence, humor, personal style.
It's a good start.
It's a lot to keep track of,
Yeah.
but they don't stop there.
Oh.
They have what they call 10 facts about female psychology that they claim will unlock the secrets of the female heart.
All right.
Now, I'm a little skeptical,
Okay.
but I'm also intrigued. Like, I
Yeah.
want to see where they're going with this.
I'm ready when you are.
Are you ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Hmm.
All right. Fact number 1, they say that when a woman's in love, her biggest concern is whether there's someone else out there
Okay.
trying to get your attention.
Interesting.
Like she's checking your phone, she's stalking your social media,
Uh-huh.
not because she doesn't trust you, but because she's afraid of losing you.
Oh, okay.
Is that like legit, or is that getting a little possessive?
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because it really taps into this whole idea of like jealousy and how it plays into love.
Yeah.
And, if you think about it from an evolutionary psychology standpoint, like
Mhm.
way back in the day, a little bit of possessiveness probably helped,
Right, like
but-
kept the tribe together.
Yeah, exactly. Like made sure your partner and your resources weren't going elsewhere.
So you're saying like a little jealousy is kind of hardwired into us.
I think so. Yeah, to some extent. I
Well,
think
it explains a lot.
it does. But like any emotion, it exists on a spectrum.
Right.
So like a healthy dose can be a sign of, investment and commitment.
Right.
Like you care enough to be concerned.
Yeah.
But if it turns into like controlling behavior or
Mhm.
constant suspicion, that's a red flag.
So how do you know when it's like cute and when it's like
Right.
creepy?
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think communication is key.
Okay.
Like if you're feeling insecure or jealous, like don't bottle it up.
Right.
Talk to your partner about it.
Mhm.
Not in an accusatory way,
All right.
but in a way that's like expressing your feelings and
Yeah.
seeking reassurance.
So honesty.
Yeah, and a secure and loving partner is gonna, understand that and work with you
Okay.
to address those concerns.
That makes sense.
Hey.
Yeah. Fact number 2, they say that when a woman's really in love, she's thinking about you constantly.
Okay.
Like even a little "I miss you" is a huge declaration of affection.
Ah,
It's like read between the lines.
interesting.
Her words are masking deeper emotions.
I see.
What do you think?
I mean, it's interesting how this one kind of points to like non-verbal communication and how sometimes actions can speak louder than words.
Right.
Like if you think about it, even small gestures can be really meaningful.
Yeah, like a quick text or like a spontaneous hug.
Exactly, like those things can speak volumes.
But how do you know if you're reading too much into it?
Right?
Like sometimes a hug is just a hug.
Totally. I mean, context is everything.
Okay.
You got to pay attention to patterns of behavior,
Oh,
the consistency of their actions, and like the overall emotional tone of the interaction.
So look at the big picture.
Exactly.
All right, fact number 3.
Okay.
This one says that women don't always say what they mean.
Interesting.
Like even a simple "I'm fine" could be masking a whole range of emotions.
Oh, I see.
It's like a code we have to crack.
Yeah, it's true that sometimes, especially in like the early stages of a relationship, people can be hesitant to fully express their feelings.
Why is that, do you think?
I mean, I think there's a vulnerability involved in like opening up, and it takes time to build that trust
Right.
and emotional intimacy.
So how do you figure it out without like playing mind games?
Yeah.
Like is there a way to do that?
I think it's about being attuned to her nonverbal cues, like her tone of voice, her body language,
Right.
her facial expressions.
Right. So like if she says "I'm fine," but she's like got the arms crossed and she's not making eye contact.
Yeah, those things can often reveal more than her words.
But you're not a mind reader.
Right, you're not.
So what do you do?
I think if you're unsure, the best approach is just to like gently probe a bit deeper.
Oh, okay.
Like instead of just accepting "I'm fine" at face value,
Yeah.
you could say something like, "Oh, you seem a bit quiet tonight.
Right.
Is everything all right?"
Okay, so just like give her an opening to
Yeah.
share if she wants to.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, fact number 4.
Okay.
This one's a little sweeter.
Right?
It says that when a woman's really in love,
Yeah.
your presence is like a stress reliever.
Oh, that's nice.
Like all her worries melt away.
Mhm.
She might even get like playful and giggly,
Okay.
like a little kid.
Interesting.
Does that ring true to you?
I mean, it's a lovely thought, and I think there's some truth to it. When we're with someone who makes us feel safe and secure and loved,
Yeah.
like our stress levels naturally decrease.
Oh.
Oxytocin, the cuddle hormone,
Oh, yeah.
plays a big role in that,
So it's like a biological thing.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
not just like in our heads.
And it creates that feeling of bonding and trust and relaxation.
So we should all be striving to be like walking, talking stress relievers.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that, but I think the takeaway is that like genuine connection and intimacy
Right.
creates that sense of ease and well-being. Right. It's not about putting on a show or pretending to be someone you're not.
Right.
It's about like being present, being attentive, being supportive, and creating that kind of like emotional haven for each other.
It's like finding that person who you can just be yourself around.
Exactly.
You don't have to put on any airs.
You totally let your guard down.
And you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
All right, fact number 5. This one's interesting.
Lay it on me.
It says that women pay attention to the little things.
Okay.
Your haircut, your clothes, your cologne, even.
Yeah.
And if she's making changes to her appearance,
Okay.
it's a sign that she's into you.
Oh.
Is it just like societal pressure?
Interesting.
Or is there something more to it?
I mean, I think it speaks to this idea of wanting to present your best self to someone you're attracted to. It's about making an effort.
Yeah.
Showing that you care about their opinion. Or maybe even like subconsciously mirroring their preferences.
So it's not just about vanity. It's like you're trying to
Right.
align yourself with the other person.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a way of saying like, I see you, I value you, I want to make a good impression.
So like picking out the perfect outfit for a date,
Exactly.
making sure every hair is in place.
We all do it.
All right, fact number 6.
Okay.
This one's all about making her feel like she's the center of your universe.
Oh.
Like really listening to her, making her feel special,
Yeah.
showering her with attention.
Okay.
They say that boosts her self-esteem and strengthens the bond.
Interesting.
Do you think it's that simple?
I mean, I think it highlights this like fundamental human need for validation and appreciation. Like we all want to feel seen and heard and valued.
Right.
And when you make someone feel special,
Yeah.
it's like you're acknowledging their worth and their importance.
That's like saying you matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that naturally deepens the connection.
But isn't there a danger of like going overboard?
Oh, for sure.
Like could it get suffocating?
Totally.
Like if you're constantly...
Yeah, you got to find that balance.
Right.
Genuine attention should feel effortless and natural, not forced or overbearing.
Okay.
It's about being present in the moment, actively listening,
Yeah.
and expressing appreciation.
So quality over quantity when it comes to attention. All right, fact number 7. They say women are drawn to men who are reliable and honest.
Okay.
Basically, be a good guy and you'll win her heart.
So the classic nice guy approach.
Is that too simplistic?
I mean, I think it does highlight the importance of certain core values.
Okay.
Like trustworthiness, dependability, and emotional stability. I mean, these are foundational.
Right, the building blocks of a relationship.
Exactly. They create that sense of safety and security,
Right.
which allows both partners to feel comfortable
Yeah.
being vulnerable.
So it's not about being a doormat.
Right.
It's about being like a solid, dependable partner.
Yeah, someone she can trust.
Yeah.
Someone who'll be there for her.
Got it. All right. Fact number 8. This one's a little spicy.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It says that arguments and conflicts are actually a sign of attachment.
Really?
Like women aren't afraid of a good fight
Oh,
because it means they care.
interesting.
Is this like romanticizing conflict or is there something to that?
I mean, it's true that conflict is inevitable in any close relationship. Like, we're all individuals with our own thoughts and feelings and needs.
Yeah.
And sometimes those clash.
Right.
But the key is how you handle those disagreements.
So it's not about avoiding conflict altogether. It's about
It's about learning to fight fair.
learning to fight fair. Okay, I like that.
Healthy conflict is about resolving disagreements respectfully.
Yeah.
Listening to each other's perspective.
Right.
Finding compromises.
So no yelling, no name calling, no bringing up the past.
Ideally not.
Ideal.
If arguments become frequent or disrespectful or escalate into like personal attacks,
Right.
that's a sign that something deeper needs to be addressed.
It's about remembering that you're on the same team,
Exactly.
even when you disagree.
Yeah.
All right, fact number 9. This one's all about quality time.
Okay.
They say that when a woman really loves you, she wants to share every moment with you,
Uh-huh.
good or bad.
Oh.
Your company is her happiness. Is that a recipe for codependency?
That's a good question.
Or is there a healthy way to look at that?
I think it speaks to this desire for companionship and shared experiences in a loving relationship.
So it's not about being like joined at the hip 24/7.
It's about genuinely enjoying spending time together.
Okay.
Whether it's a romantic dinner, a hike in nature,
Right.
or just cuddling up on the couch for a movie night. Like, those shared experiences strengthen the bond.
create memories.
Exactly.
All right, last but not least, fact number 10. They say that women feel happiest when their partners make them feel proud.
Interesting.
Like romantic gestures, compliments in front of other people, that kind of thing.
Oh, so like show her off a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Is that just about stroking her ego, or is there something deeper going on there?
I think it speaks to the importance of validation and appreciation.
Okay.
Not just in private, but also in a social context. It's about like acknowledging her worth
Right.
and celebrating your relationship
yeah.
in front of others.
Like, I'm proud to be with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be these like grand gestures.
Yeah.
It can be as simple as like holding her hand in public,
Right.
introducing her to your friends with a loving smile,
Yeah.
speaking highly of her accomplishments.
Little things.
Those small acts of affirmation can go a long way
Okay.
in making her feel loved and appreciated.
It's about making her feel like she's your partner.
Exactly.
Somebody you're proud to be with.
You're equal.
All right, so there you have it. The 10 facts about female psychology.
Wow.
According to our source,
We covered a lot.
we did jealousy, nonverbal cues, quality time, public displays of affection.
It's a lot to process.
It is. But before we wrap things up, they have one final piece of advice,
Okay.
and it's a big one.
All right.
They say, feel her feelings.
Feel her feelings.
Go beyond the words and really understand the emotions behind them.
Oh, wow.
It's wild, right? Like, we talk about attraction all the time.
Yeah.
We don't usually get this deep.
No, not usually.
So we look at, like, jealousy and body language and all that.
Creating that safe space for each other.
But I think it really comes down to that last point, like,
That's a good one.
feel her feelings.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Like a whole other level of understanding.
It is. It's like it challenges us to go beyond just the surface level, like move past those assumptions and really try to tap into what the other person's experiencing. It's like empathy in its purest form,
Like putting yourself in her shoes.
Exactly.
And like feeling what she's feeling.
It's like sometimes the most important messages aren't actually spoken out loud,
It's all about those little things.
It is like a change in energy.
So it's like a sixth sense almost.
Kinda, yeah, like using your intuition,
Yeah.
your emotional intelligence.
So for our listener out there who's, maybe struggling to figure all this out, what's the takeaway?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing is to approach relationships with curiosity,
Okay.
empathy, an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just rely on words or grand gestures. Like, pay attention to those subtle things.
The unspoken language.
Exactly, those emotional undercurrents.
So be present, be observant, try to see things from her perspective.
Yeah, and remember, everybody's different.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, what works for one person might not work for another.
Right, there's no magic formula for this.
It's really about finding that sweet spot where your energies align,
Yeah.
where you can both be yourselves.
And the communication is just flowing.
Exactly.
That's the dream.
It is.
Well, this has been really eye-opening.
Yeah, me too.
We've learned a lot about female attraction
A lot about communication.
and about empathy too.
Definitely. And, it makes you think, like, how can we apply these principles to all our relationships?
That's a good question.
Not just romantic ones, but, friendships, family.
Yeah, how can we all be a little more understanding?
Exactly. A little more attuned to each other's needs.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
This was a good one.
We've explored the mysteries of the female heart.
We did.
We've challenged ourselves to be more empathetic. And we've hopefully given our listeners some food for thought.
Lots to ponder.
So thank you for joining us on this journey. And until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep those deep dives going.